As a child, I took piano lessons. Unfortunately, I wasn't any good. And I didn't enjoy them either. It's hard to say if one was the reason for the other, because I never gave myself the chance to find out, at least, not really. They say practice makes perfect. Well, if that's true, I was never going to attain perfection because I hardly ever practiced. There were many other things I'd rather do, just about anything else, if I'm honest. Sure, I'd play the piano in my parents' house every now and then, but never what I was supposed to. But I could have, if I wanted to. It's no surprise I didn't get any better. Week after week, I'd show up for a lesson with the same couple of pieces. I'd bash out the same mistakes and flush some more of my folks' money down the drain. My teachers were patient. They encouraged me, showed me ways to rehearse, and urged me to schedule regular times to do it. I'm sure it was sound advice, but it didn't convince me. If I wanted to, if I really wanted to, I could have been good. I could, if I wanted to. I've used that excuse my whole life, maintaining I could improve some unsatisfying aspect of it, if I wanted to. But there are other things more important. Some things aren't worth the effort. Growing up, I had a variety of opportunities. I was lucky. I had plenty of things I could do if I put my mind to it, but I couldn't do everything. So I had to pick what I would go for and what I wouldn't. Not because, mind you, I couldn't do it, but because I preferred something else. But many times I used my preferences as an excuse to play it safe. Risk nothing, lose nothing. Giving something a miss was my choice. I decided. I picked what I wanted to do and what I didn't. But in reality, this withdrawal masked insecurity. It probably looked like laziness. Indeed, that's what grown-ups often think of young people's lack of commitment and indecisiveness. But I wasn't lazy. I was, in fact, afraid. The Gospel records that after hearing the shouts for Jesus' death, Pilate was afraid too, more afraid than ever. "Do you not know that I have the power to release you?" he asked. If he wanted to, Pilate could make all this go away. Jesus could walk out a free man. Pilate was in charge. In Pilate's claim of authority, I can't help but hear a tinge of anxiety, the words of a man on thin ice. Did Pilate believe what he said? Was he truly confident? Did he feel mighty and in control? My guess is Pilate said what he said to alleviate his sense of dread, a simulation of self-control, to regulate the disorder and madness. I could do something, he might have thought. But Pilate told himself he didn't really care. I mean, if he did, he would take action. How often are we comforting ourselves with the same insincere detachment, telling ourselves we're not really that interested or concerned to make inaction easier? We diminish the consequences of our actions, regard our life choices as mere preferences. Nothing is that important. I could do a lot of things if I wanted to. I could, if I wanted to. I don't think I was ever destined to be a concert pianist. Deep down, I always knew that. But I felt better telling myself it was out of choice. I had an excuse. You see, I figured if I really tried, I'd have succeeded. And asserting that made me feel a little less awful, less terrible about my inadequacies and failings. I saw what was right and what was best. So why didn't I do it? What was wrong with me? I can't help but wonder if Pilate's claim of power was an attempt like mine to come up with an answer to this cognitive dissonance. Pilate knows it's the right thing to release Jesus. And Pilate pleads with Jesus' accusers, asking them multiple times to change their minds. But Pilate realizes the decision to acquit Jesus is problematic. He can see where this is going. Choosing to release Jesus will most likely backfire. Better to make a choice that won't almost certainly end in failure and disappointment. Maybe you know the feeling. Perhaps you recognize the pattern. To avoid a crash, cover up, and save ourselves from regret, we offer an excuse. To prevent coming face to face with whether or not we're capable of doing something, we'll not bother trying. Fear wins, and we justify it with a self-soothing cliche. I could, if I wanted to. Do we feel better now?